And I think that Dave Smith is somebody that
Hey man, we here. Listen, I know it is nigga time, but niggas do show up. So fellas, stay tuned, buckle in. We're gonna cover part 2 of Candace Owens versus Nick Fuentes. Let's get into it. Let's go! And we're back. What's up, fellas? Man, it's been a awesome start to a week. As you guys know, today, unfortunately, there's going to be no after hours. However, we are going to be doing a show with Organic, Goldie, and Dom again with some girls tomorrow on the 35 podcast here in the studio. So let's get into that. Tomorrow, it'll be lit. As you guys know, game on game on game on game. And we live how we talk it. We're out here in the dating game, still doing our shit. Still keeping it fresh, and of course, keeping it humble. But yeah, fellas, this is going to be part 2 of the actual verses. You know what? I call it verses because even though she's bringing him as a guest to interview, I think it's a verses, honestly speaking. He's defending himself. Anyhow, but yeah, Myron's going to be heading to Timcast today. He's going to do a show with Timcast, politics stuff, you know. And I want to say this about politics, man. Dan Bongino's a good guy. He just ended up in a weird situation where he had to be a certain way and be in a certain protocol for the agenda. He said, F that, I'm leaving. I'm done. So shout out to Dan Bongino. A real G, left millions of dollars on the table. I know his deal. To go serve the people. And they didn't want to be truthful. So he left and said, fuck it, I'm going to go back to what I used to do, speak the truth. Anyhow, guys, Kick, CSG Gang, Rumble, YouTube, shout out to y'all niggas, man. We are definitely going up. And of course, we got the actual shows coming up in August. And we're going to be in a certain location with somebody you guys know very well in Europe. So that's happening pretty soon as well in August. So W in the chat, man, for the fellas. All right, so let's get into this debate while we start. Here we go. We ended off here last time, so this should be pretty good. Let's go.
As a convenient spokesperson for it, because he doesn't really.
By the way, recap, guys. This is where he's talking about Dave Smith and why he attacked him, basically. And Candace is like, why you attacked Dave Smith when he was backing you this entire time? So here we go.
Have a problem with Jews and their Jewishness. He doesn't really talk about the whole fifth column aspect of it. He talks about a very narrow aspect of it, which is there's this Israel lobby and they're sort of influential and they're driving us to war. That's one small selection of it.
So you think, just to clarify, you think he's like a psychological operation?
Yeah, effectively, yes.
Okay.
And I don't think he's doing that knowingly, but I think that they're creating the bounds of the debate by having him be the spokesperson because
who is choosing him as a spokesperson? I mean,
Joe Rogan,
I could not disagree with that more. I just want to say that I patently disagree with you on this one. This is crazy. I think that he has moved the ball forward so much for, first and foremost, a lot of American Jews to have the courage to even question Israel, because in the same way that we were kind of brought up in the classroom with the, I guess you want to call it, emotional engineering around the Holocaust, learning about the Holocaust as like the biggest, most evil event that ever happened. Imagine if you're Jewish and you learn about that. It's the same way that Black Americans in the classrooms learn about slavery. So I understood the
slavery, man. Oh my God, bro. If I had heard another time someone said, we need reparations, bro, I'd be a millionaire, bro. I'm telling you, bro.
I would smack that head so hard.
Wild.
trigger emotional response that Black Americans had during BLM, because there was so much conditioning that happened in the classroom that makes them think that when someone says white supremacy is back, you have to riot. And I will extend that same understanding.
Mm-hmm.
I disagree with it, but I understand that when October 7th happens, it's almost like a childhood trauma for these people.
Right.
You learn this, your whole existence, it's existential crisis for you that something happened in Israel. And then you add in the fact that the ADL is sponsoring these trips to kind of make sure that they stay into this, this is who you are. And if somebody questions this, like, we could end up in the Holocaust again.
By the way, guys, today's Money Monday. I'm going to be having a special guest pop in for some money talk when this is over or midway. So stay tuned for that as well.
You have to have some sort of an understanding, even if it's they're wrong.
Right.
You have to give them a little bit of time, a little bit of grace here. And so for him to be doing what he's doing and to be enduring a lot of the same stuff that I'm enduring, like, he is on lists, he is being attacked by every single all people that are attacking me are certainly attacking Dave Smith.
Mm-hmm.
And your excuse is that he just is born Ashkenazi.
No, that's not my excuse. My problem.
And he's married
is
to a
this.
Catholic, by the way. So that
him.
that's the part that I am even more confused about, because you said, like, he's a religious Jew. No, he's not. He's married to a Catholic.
What I mean by that is my criticism of Jews comes from a religious place. As a Catholic, we recognize that the Pharisees put Jesus on the cross, and the Talmudic Jews are the descendants of the Pharisees. And we also recognize...
And he is not a Talmudist. That's what I want to say.
But that's
he's
what I'm
not
saying.
any of those things. He's married to a Catholic. He's just born Ashkenazi.
But
so when I hear you say, Dave Smith, Jew, I think it conflicts with your point about how even white people, like, you're just kind of trained that you should just, like, there's something wrong with you for being born white. No one should feel guilty about how they're born.
Look, it's
like, you know what I mean?
To sum it up succinctly, it's tokenism is what it is. It's a form of saying, we're criticizing the Jews in Israel. How do we soften and dampen the blow? Because we're going to get called anti-Semites if we bring on a guy criticizing Israel. I know we'll bring on a Jewish person, because then we get to say, I'm not an anti-Semite. Here's a Jewish person saying this. And here's...
Sir, Fresh, you think Candace is hot? Just to be fair, my friend, I think, quite frankly, she's amazing. I'll leave it there.
But that's not why I had Dave Smith on. Actually,
Okay.
I had him on my podcast before I even left the Daily Wire. We had a 3-hour conversation about talking about war, and truly, because I think it's important for you to hear this. I think sometimes you internet too hard. The way that Dave...
So we actually were a little bit ahead of this part. we actually moved forward to when she talks about I think his actual. We're actually a little bit further. One second.
An appeal. They blame a Jew, a fifth column. And as evidenced by recent developments, they're not loyal to America. Now,
yeah, so we actually moved forward because he went to Piers Morgan and debated that guy, and she got into basically why do people that attack the Jays think that they're right or something like that, where she was kind of referencing when the guy said to him, everyone that actually talks about, in plural, everybody that uses the J's in detail are kind of like dumb. That's what the argument was for Nick from Candace.
I agree with you, and that's why I want to add this. I agree with you on the point that there is this operating fifth column of Zionism.
No,
okay? No, but I want to be clear, and I'll tell you this is where we disagree.
All right.
Because I think it's ridiculous to say to someone who's literally just born, he's like, I'm Ashkenazi, that is just his DNA, who is married to a Catholic, so you cannot call him a religious Jew. He is not a Zionist. He hasn't even been to Israel. So how do you just condemn him? And then also, how is that not toxic to what you're trying to do? So if you're saying that your entire platform is, I want to awaken people to this fifth column. Well, if I'm a Jewish person, okay, and I'm being raised and maybe I'm worried about Israel because I kind of grew up and was told that I have to care about this because of the Holocaust, whatever it is. And I see this guy who's just going, Jew, guilty, you're a Jew, doesn't matter, DNA, like you're 20.
Oh, by the way, they actually clipped that part when she says this part, and it literally went viral on Twitter because obviously speaking is out of context. But hearing her say the words, Jew, you're guilty, you're Jew, that went viral on Twitter. So I don't know if she knew that was going to happen, but of course, the Gorpers went crazy.
3andMe up there, Jew, guilty, okay? And you think that your ideas are going to grow with that perspective?
Well, they are. So that's happening. But
is that because of thanks to you or thanks to Dave?
I think it's thanks to me. But if you're asking me, I will answer. If you're lecturing me, I'll take a lecture.
I genuinely I'm asking you the question sincerely. You think it's growing because of you and not because of people like Dave who are going, okay, like, yeah, you can also think like this. It's okay to have this perspective. Like, you think it's because they're watching your show and they're going, he's got it right.
Let me give you a direct answer about the first part about Dave Smith. Just because he's born Jewish. What did he say when he went on Joe Rogan and he debated, what's the guy's name? He debated the British.
See, this is more like a lecture than an interview. Typically speaking, when you invite somebody for an interview, you focus on their strengths, not weaknesses. And this is more like an attack, I would say, because if you notice, it's pretty much like her making a statement about what he actually is saying or believes, and then saying, why this, why that? Versus like, hey, what's your opinion on this? You know what I'm saying? So the actual framing of this interview is a bit more structured towards an attack more than an interview. So
this guy, forget
Douglas Murray.
Douglas Murray. When he debated Douglas Murray said, and you hear this is the woke right phenomenon, which Dave has criticized, but Douglas said, there is this dark element that is growing on the right. They're Holocaust deniers. They hate Jews. If they slip on a banana peel, they blame a Jew and all the rest of it. Dave Smith said, I agree with you. Those people are a problem. I'm against Holocaust denial and all this sort of stuff. Joe Rogan went on the attack against Jake Shields, who's a friend of mine and a fighter and a boxer. And you see this over and over and over again with people like Dave Smith and even someone like Daryl Cooper, who's not Jewish. And I talked to Daryl recently and we kind of made amends, but Daryl Cooper put out an article on a Substack saying the same thing. He said, I started talking about the Jews. I opened up this can of worms. Now that's all people want to hear about. He said, so I'm done talking about it because, there's people that can't handle it and they're taking it too far. And when I hear that from Daryl Cooper, when I hear that from Dave Smith, when they say Israel's our satellite, our aircraft carrier, I say something's not right here. There's clearly a subtle difference here. And that has a lot to do with, maybe Daryl Cooper not being a complete radical. And I think that has a lot to do with Dave Smith being Jewish because he says that his ancestors died in the Holocaust. Now, I don't think that he'll ever be able to say in the way that I can, that maybe the Holocaust.
Locals, shout out to Castle Club. He says, you should do Hero and Frank merch, AB23. Who wants to wear merch with a Hero on it, man? Maybe Frank, but I don't know about Hero, man. Hero's a cute dog and all, but I don't know if people want to hear that or see that.
wasn't legitimate, or maybe there's
I don't know,
more
man.
to the story on World War II because it's his grandparents.
Okay, but
He says my ancestors went up the smokestacks at Auschwitz. And
Oh shit! I forgot to tell you guys, bro. So right now, remember we did a show with Charlie Miguel talking about buy Bitcoin and buy gold. Well, just so you guys know, right now, if you look at your actual Coinbase or Gemini or whatever you want to look at, you can see that there is a clear indication that Bitcoin is at an all-time new high. Whoa! I wonder who told you guys to get some Bitcoin and get some crypto before. But then again, it's just more of a we told you so. But at the same time, right now, fellas, this is just the beginning. It's going to go even further. And actually, we predicted from good sources, very good sources, Michael Saylor, that what's going to happen next is going to exceed past that. And it may bottom out by the end of the year, beginning of the year. So if you guys have listened to us and got the course and bought the right coins, I'm just telling you right now, fellas, you could be up. And actually speaking, because of that, we're going to go buy a new car. Fucking Don DeMarco. And we just ordered it today. It should be here next week. It's going to be fucking crazy. But this is why you got to listen to the trends that are popping, bro. I'm telling you, bro. Like, if y'all niggas put money there, bro, you would have been up right now. So, and when we win, bro, we win big. So, just saying, man. Y'all niggas say, oh, this is a scam. This is a course. But listen, I'm not an expert, nigga. But I know the experts myself. I ask them what to do. They put me on to game, and I win. And then we say, you know what? Rather than just say, listen to us, no, we'll bring them in for you. So when they tell you what to do, it's the expert telling you, but we know as well. So when we win, you guys win too. But again, oh, bro, this is a scam, bro. I don't know what to do. No, nigga, you're broke. Just say you're broke. Just say you're broke and stay where you're at. But then again, bro, do we even care? If you don't care, probably not. But if you do care, we care. Just saying, though. Fellas, everything's not a scam. Obviously speaking, we've been doing this course with them for, 3 years now plus. And everyone's been happy. So you should be happy too. If you're winning at least. Anyhow, let's continue this breakdown.
And someone like me, I say, I don't care about Auschwitz. I don't care about the Holocaust. I'm done hearing about it. I have no affinity with that.
Right. But you also mentioned Daryl Cooper and you also mentioned Joe Rogan. These two people are not Jewish, right?
Right.
So are you saying that they're all condemned? Like, why does it matter? If Dave Smith, maybe he believes that. Maybe he's wrong. Maybe he believes it. Who knows? If Joe Rogan says that, maybe he's wrong. Maybe he believes it. Let's say we don't know. Daryl Cooper, what is the difference between these three individuals? Like, why is one represent a problem for you versus like your idea? Going back to what you said, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's tackle the idea. Let's actually debate the idea. So do you not see how you run into conflict with yourself? You're like, well, here's my story. I just wanted to debate the idea. And then when it comes to Dave Smith, rather than saying, I disagree with what you just said about whatever topic, saying that there is this strand, let's actually have the debate because the better idea will win. That's how my brain works.
Yeah, well, here's why. Because this is another form of gatekeeping. When Joe Rogan says, okay, you're cool. Dave Smith is cool. But Jake Shields, he's a Holocaust denier. That's not cool. That's dark and evil and real anti-Semitism. You hear that all the time. They say, are you like a Dave Smith guy or are you a real anti-Semite? Because you know what they say? If you're a real anti-Semite, you're out of the club. You don't get invited on the show. Piers Morgan won't have me on the show. He banned me. Tim Pool banned me. Joe Rogan banned me. And it's like, wait a second. So, clearly some people are able to go on these shows and express some form of the view, which is, again, like what you're saying. There's this.
Let me peel back the third wall here, right? So the problem that I see with creators and platforms is certain platforms have certain rules that are not put out there. They're very gray area, and they're so vague that if you bring somebody that's in that gray area, they'll get your ass out of there real quick. So what I'm saying is, when Nick is arguing that, they didn't put certain people on, other people came on, is because they're more safe for content. You get what I'm saying? And for someone's channel that they work their ass off for, call them scared or whatever, but they don't want to lose it. And that's why they say, okay, well, this person's safe, the person's not, we'll go with them. Now, unfortunately for Nick, he's hated across all platforms. So that means that if you bring him on your platform, for the most part, You're either going to be banned or demonetized. Well, this is back in the day. Now it's a little bit more different because Trump's in office. But the reality is, fellas, people don't like Nick. So that means, by default, if you bring someone like him on or someone that's like, I want to say, almost adjacent to him, you kind of end up becoming a casualty of your own choice, which means you get punished for it greatly. It's a system, fellas. We didn't make the rules, but it is how it is. So people will pick and choose. That's why Joe Rogan may never have us on because, quite frankly, he may not want to take the risk or have those type of like discussions after with companies or whatever or brand deals. So peeling back the third wall here, companies do have a play in people's choices. I'm telling you this right now as deals happen. And this is why, like, even though people say, oh, bro, don't be pussy. Bro, they're getting paid a lot of money, bro. So for them, it's kind of like, fuck it. I don't care what y'all say. I want the bag. And to be fair, it's their money, their business. They can do what they want. So just like how platforms can choose their rules and pick and choose, they can too for their podcast or their show. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying that's why they do what they do. Now, speaking of which, I will say this though. Having the balls to put someone on like Nick is a W because it gives the conversation two sides. Rather than just one sided conversation, it's okay, what's the other side? And then when you guys talk on the actual platform, people can choose and say, okay, I like his point of view. I like his point of view. I can see the middle ground where like this makes sense for me. And that is good for people in general to make a choice for themselves and their family. But if you only choose one side, and you're kind of just making that one-sided argument versus having both sides talk about it. But this is why, again, it's just people's platforms. They can do what they want, but that's why they do and pick and choose what they want to bring on, pretty much.
Israel lobby. But if you go out and say, you know what, 6 million, I'm not buying it. You know, I think this is a political narrative. I think it's atrocity propaganda serving a fifth column. Suddenly they say, well, that's real anti-Semitism. We want nothing to do with that. You know, you remain outside. And so, and look, it's not to me.
Also, keep in mind, you're going to have Media Matters, these platforms also as well. Make articles about you, talk shit about you all day, which, quite frankly, they don't do too much now. But back in the day, it was like almost like canceling you outright. So, yeah, it's definitely not as easy as 1, 2, 3, but you can choose to make that choice as a creator on your platform.
About, you know, people then say, oh, well, you're envious. Look, I love doing my show. I love doing what I do. I want the real truth to prevail. And there's this concept of a limited hangout. This is a CIA tool, and I'm sure you've heard of it, but for your audience that maybe hasn't, when they believe that disclosure is inevitable, a secret, a taboo, hidden narrative that they don't want to get out, when it's inevitable that it is going to go out, what they will do is they will leak out some of the truth. The public is so enamored with the new information, they go no further, and they actually don't get to the critical details. And I think that, you know, we're basically at that point with the Israel lobby and the Jewish topic. Clearly something is going on.
So you're just distrusting, and that's fine to say that you're distrusting.
No, well, I'm distrusting
I
naturally.
just, yeah. I mean, I think it's fine to, and you are correct, by the way, that there are these operations where they do these limited hangouts. And I'm very aware of that. That is true. And sometimes I have that in my mind when I'm watching something. I'm like, this feels like a limited hangout.
Yep, we're up on Sui, Bitcoin. Yo, shout out to the niggas that got into the course, man, that learned about crypto, how to actually put money into it the right way, not get finesse. Yo, we are up, my boy. Hey, when I'm gonna post a card next week, probably Tuesday or Wednesday when it comes here from California. Ooh, wait, I'm about to be. Yo, I should put a Bitcoin sign on the car, bro. Not just kidding. But yeah, W.
Like they're not really kind of getting to the nucleus of the conversation.
But it matches the G-Wagon. I'm going to say that. The car matches the G-Wagon, so it's going to be lit.
But I just really disagree with you about, like, just Dave is just guilty and condemned simply because he's born
I didn't say because he's Jewish.
Well, on the clip, I think you just went like Dave Jew, and it's like, what does it matter? Dave
I'm
Joe
sick of
Rogan
the
not
tokenism.
Jew.
I'm sick of the
But,
tokenism.
okay, and I'll tell you another reason why I disagree with that, and we can move on from Dave Smith because I like him, and I'm whoever I like. I don't really care. To adapt my opinions on the basis of yours, but I also just in general feel like I was that
Good reverb,
person for
very
BLM,
close, very
and I'm
close.
genuine. I was totally genuine, and that was kind of my wake up call. BLM, I didn't really accept the victim narrative. Maybe a little bit like you, naive, walked into it like, oh, I'm just not going to support this thing, and I don't really want to be a Democrat. And then I dealt with the full weight of an attempted cancellation by the left at first, and kind of like she's the token for the right, and people saying, well, they're only platforming her because she's a black person that agrees, and to some degree, maybe that's true. Like obviously, like there is a.
I'll be honest. Candace Owens has a factor of protection that we don't have. And the reality is, bro, she's a black woman. That by itself gives her an air of protection that we don't have. Luckily, things have changed. So imagine if we were saying the things we're saying as white men. Oh, bro, we were gonna be cooked. Like, I got friends that were like, bro, you admiring shit y'all do, bro? If it was us, we would be canceled from day one. I was like, yeah, bro, you're right. So there's an era of protection that black people do have, but her being a black woman, even more so because she's a woman. So she'll get her channel back, her money back on YouTube for sure. I should probably have some plugs in there, but yeah, she does have air protection that we don't have. Keeping it real with you guys. Vapor. I speak English very well, actually. So if you got a problem, go somewhere else. And if you got a problem, brother Vapor, you can get your ass out of here anytime. You don't got to be here, brother.
Element of tokenism, but I'm saying what I believe.
Sure.
I was saying what I believe.
And I don't doubt his sincerity. I don't doubt his sincerity at all.
So why problematize it? That's what I'm trying to get to. So it's then he's out there having to fight amongst these pro-Israel people. He's fighting the same Zionists that we are on the topic of Israel. And on top of that, he's got to deal with Nick Fuentes talking trash about him because he's like, well, this is just, who cares? If he can't help who he is. I couldn't help it. I was black and disagreed with BLM. I'm just black and disagree with BLM,
Well, here's the reason why. It's a little bit irritating because Dave Smith, for all the flack that he's getting, he remains on YouTube. He's been on YouTube the whole time.
What a kick chat. What a rumble chat.
On Twitter. He's been on Twitter the whole time. He has bank accounts. He has payment processors. And now that people are waking up about Israel, they want to invite a Jewish person on to tell us we're not real anti-Semites, we're not Holocaust deniers, but maybe something's wrong with Israel. And here I am, having been banned on YouTube, been banned by banks, every streaming platform, all of it condemned, life destroyed, and people still are gatekeeping me and saying, you're a real anti-Semite. And I'm saying, well, obviously we didn't come far enough. So I don't doubt his sincerity. He's a big boy. He doesn't mind that I'm trash talking him. And I still consider him a friend, even though I've been critical of him. But we have to go a little bit further than to say something's up with the Zionists or Israel. It's not Israel. It is the Jews. And I think that Dave Smith, being a Jewish libertarian, I don't think he's ready to go that far. I don't think he is.
I want to know
far.
what you mean by that. So just so we're clear, is your perspective that if people don't platform you, it's because they don't want to go too far?
It may be that they aren't that far ideologically, but then that's my job to push them farther. And that's why I say it. That's why I say,
well, maybe they just disagree with you.
But
that's another thing. Maybe
they
just
have me on
disagree
the show,
with you.
But I'm gate capped.
Okay, but if the more important, so for me, if I care deeply about what's happening.
The problem is with certain type of rhetoric, you're going to go so far. And the powers that be are there for a reason. Listen, there is a gatekeeping happening for sure. This is not no like, oh yeah, bro, come in and talk your truth. Nah, my nigga. This is like, yo, this is our shit, bro. You're not coming nowhere close to us. Which is why, even though he's right, sadly, it won't ever prevail. Now, people are waking up. But the system itself, bro, if that system is ever destroyed, fellas, what's next is going to be pure control. I think y'all niggas understand. The next system that comes in place is going to be monitored by robots, cameras, chips in your body. You can't pay with cash. That's going to be that's going to be hell on earth, bro, because you got no freedom at all. So what we have in place now is not perfect, but it is a system that can work if you work your ass off and get to the metal, pedal to the metal. However, new system coming, fellas, that, bro, if you read your Bible, if you guys are actually Christian, believing people, some of you are at least, you're going to understand that this actual new system is going to be way worse than anything you've ever seen in your life. Our kids are going to be done for. This is why I say, listen, fellas, I get it. We need to change the system. But if you look forward to what's coming next, look at Elon Musk. This thing is not a joke, fellas. No joke at all. So it's sad, bro. But this is where the truth hurts. The truth is, fellas, we're cooked. We are cooked. Just saying.
To the Palestinians, obviously. I've made a point to talk about that. And I very much see what you're speaking about, that there is this coordinated, very sinister movement. I think it operates on the left and the right, whether it's the ADL or APAC. The money is flowing to instantly cancel people, to get them fired. And it's vicious. I mean, it is dirty business. And to survive it's hard for most people to even survive it when they go through it, because they're so smeared. It's like an effective tar and feathering. And for it to happen.
I wish for one day I could just record what happens in these rooms so you guys can hear, because I made a group called Common Sense Gang, right? Because I think nowadays, especially, even Trump campaign on common sense is no longer common, because people don't think logically, or they don't have the full information in front of them. All they see is a creator or some articles, but they don't have the full scope of what's happening with the system behind it. Now, when you add in that factor and the truth, you can understand the totality of what's happening in real time. The problem is you're getting bits and pieces from people, but not the real thing. The real power is not even seen. Fellas, the real power is the royal families. Them niggas are so far beyond reach and cameras and views, you don't even know where they're at. And the bloodline that they have is fucking protected. So that's the real power. Power is not seen. It's felt. If you understand what's happening worldwide, it is felt, not seen. So if you can see the person and say, oh, it's them. No, my friend, that's not the actual enemy. The enemy you can't see because they're in the shadows. Trust me when I say, fellas, this is far beyond our comprehension as humans, but it's more spiritual. But what I'm saying is, like, the real enemy is not in front of you. Trust me.
When you were 18 is ridiculous. But at the same time, if I'm going to use my platform to speak about that, I want to make sure that I'm hosting people that can explain that to people that otherwise may not even be aware of that.
Right.
So if you're going to host, why are you sitting this person down on your show? Well, because we're having a conversation about something that's important. I can either learn from that person, right? Or I think that this person can teach something to my audience, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I were to host you and that was the clip that's coming out, do you think people are going to go, yeah, that just made me realize here I am, just believing that we should, I'm a normal conservative like you. You said you were 18. I like these people. And the first thing I hear Nick Fuentes say is, Dave, they're not going to think that you're a good person.
This is concern trolling. I'm sorry,
no,
but this is tone policing, and this is concern trolling.
It's not. No, it's not.
It is
it's
absolutely.
Not tone policing. Hold up. Let's back it up because I'm going to let you speak. It is not tone policing. What I am saying is that you just went through the fact that you genuinely were coming up, that you were a conservative.
Bro, I'm telling you, bro, this is an attack on Nick, bro. Bro, just keeping it real with you fellas. Candace, respectfully.
Get back in the kitchen.
This was nothing more than an attack, because this is an interrogation. All right, nigga, what's going on here? Like, what are you doing this week? Bro, it's supposed to be like an interview where we go back and forth with our points, but not only that, but not attacking heavily. Because it's been, 48 minutes in? Bro, he's been attacked the entire time. It reminds me of when we went to Andrew Schultz, right, for an interview in New York. We had just went viral for talking about the Black app, basically, for dating. And we made a joke about we don't want Shaniquas or, other names. And what happened was that he came to the interview with an agenda. He put his lackeys on us, the fucking Indian guy and the black guy. Oh, you don't like black women? Mind you, they're dating white women. Bro, like, what's going on here? But the entire time it was an attack on us. I mean, we did pretty well with just not engaging in it and not taking it personal. But this is kind of similar in a way. Yeah, Shaquanda. His car stops at Shaquanda. I'm telling you, bro. But in essence, they attacked us, but
we do not care.
We didn't care, bro. It's just like, okay, cool, whatever. Bro, there's nothing anyone can say to hurt us ever, bro. Me and Mary have been through the worst, and any negative comment, bro, you think we give a fuck? Nigga, we're rich. We're good. We got things going for ourselves. We got a lot of people helping us out, a lot of support, a lot of, actual value we give back to people. Remember, we did 2 years, guys, of 7 days a week shows, no breaks. And we didn't know where it was going to take us. We just buckled down and showed up every day for 7 days a week for 2 years straight. Who does that? Name me one podcast that's done that much work in 2 years. None. So comments that are negative or people talking shit, we don't really care, bro. Like, we've been through way worse than that. So I'll just say this, man. At the end of the day, fellas, you gotta understand. If you are a creator, you're gonna be attacked. And in this case, even interviews that may seem cool or may seem friendly could turn into an attack on you. So it is what it is.
But if you genuinely liked Ben Shapiro, you genuinely thought these things. So that wasn't you would not look back on yourself and say, well, that I was problematic. You just would be like, that makes sense.
Right.
And I'm saying to you that the majority of people have that perspective. You don't have to assign an evil motive. You get into something because you believe it. That's it. It's just that simple.
Okay.
And if you're then going to have somebody who's condemning them, what are we learning? If you're just going to say, you're this, you're that, it's like you've forgotten yourself. Like, some people just aren't there wherever you are.
Okay.
Also, if you guys want, I'll open a Discord, so you guys could also comment as well. Your opinion, well, you could chime in as well. If you guys want, let me know. I'll open a Discord for you guys.
Hey, but I missed the part where I condemned him. And I talked about the Dave Smith part repeatedly. And by the way, you're mixing it up and saying, well, if people watch the show, what are they going to think if they see that clip?
I'm just trying to say to you, why would someone maybe say,
Can I
okay,
talk?
if
Can I
want,
answer?
Yeah, go ahead.
Come on.
Go ahead.
I mean, so, look.
See, what's his name on YouTube says, Candace is a journalist. She's supposed to ask hard questions and not spam with BS. The problem is he's not talking at all. Like, she's kind of overpowering him where he's not being able to speak like just now. It's kind of like, bro, let the man breathe, bro. Come on, man.
I'm a funny guy. I'm bombastic. I'm provocative. That's part of it. And you know what? You can concern, troll, and tone police about, whether
Not
I...
tone police. I wouldn't
you
have
kind
you
of
on
are,
if I'm tone policing
you
and
call
playing
Dave
your clips.
Smith, Jew, this. We're laughing during the clip.
Yeah,
You and I are
it's
laughing.
funny.
It's funny. And
I'm
that's
laughing
why...
at you making fun of me. I don't mind you making fun of me.
Yeah, and I don't
I'm
mind
chill.
you making fun of me if you've ever done that. I mean, and I'm chill too.
No, I don't care. I'm not, like I said,
I know,
I told you. It's funny.
I like that about you because I think that you're...
See, they can take jokes. If you joke about somebody or say something bad about them, they don't take it personal. I mean, they might a little bit, but they don't take it personal that crazy. By the way, we got our supporter Prof 11 on Castle Club saying Sui's up 30% since Charlie and Miguel said to buy it. I'm telling you, fellas, I just sold some of my Sui, by the way. So I'm up right now. Guys, you know what I do when I sell? I'll like buy something that I want because I feel like I just because it went up so much. It's like, all right, cool. I can take this money that I didn't work for and spend it how I want to spend it. That's how you should do it. Use the money that you didn't work for to spend on some dumb shit, right? If you're going to spend dumb shit. That's how you should do it. Or use income that's not earned as well in that sense. But again, your best bet is to put money towards assets that will make you money and, of course, gain you versus you lose money. I've been there before as well, man. Buying cars, it definitely does suck. But now we're moving smarter this year as we move forward.
You're hardcore. I think we're kind of similar in that way. We don't have thin skin. So I appreciate that about you. And I know that Dave Smith is the same way. And I said on that show and other shows, I like him. I think he's a good guy. And I agree with you. I think he's sincere and I respect him. And I think he's a good person, actually.
He is.
But I do think that we disagree. And to the extent that I'm critical of the situation, it's not a personal directed at him. I know maybe it comes across that way or it sounds like that to you, but I've said it repeatedly on my show and that's not the only time I talked about it. I said the problem is this idea, and again, intentional or not, that we need permission from a Jewish person sitting there so that we're not real anti-Semites to talk about the issues. And I also disagree with Dave Smith on the extent of it. Now, maybe he fundamentally disagrees. I'd love to talk to him about it. That'd be fine with me. But it does come from a place of disagreement. I'm not condemning him.
I think he genuinely
just
disagrees with you. And that's kind of the point I'm trying to say when I say don't internet too hard, is that sometimes you can assign a conspiracy where it's just not, that's not the motive. Like for me, I just wanted to have Dave on my show because I had him on before and I think he's great and I like his stuff. He's one of my favorite follows. That's it. I don't even think about the fact, well, he's a Jew, so let me have him on to tokenize the situation. I don't care. I just like him, Yeah. And in terms of why I could try to appreciate where if somebody's trying to wake somebody up to something, you could dump, I guess, a bucket of ice on someone when they're sleeping and wake them up. Or you could kind of say, okay, Are you starting to, with my sisters, we have this debate right now about me being a Catholic. My sisters are not Catholic. I don't need to be like, you must understand why the Catholic faith is right. And it's like, I got there. They're not there yet. Like, chill. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Here's where I was. My sisters were Democrat when I got into politics. And we've always kept a sense of humor about things. So it never became this toxic name calling stuff. Well, it was, but it was like with a sense of humor about it. Like my sisters would be like,
I remember going to church, learning about different denominations, and there's Baptist, there's Catholic, there's Pentecostal, Anglican. There's just so many denominations. But you know what kind of rubbed me the wrong way is if we're Christian, shouldn't we all be working together to serve the Lord? Why there's so many broken parts of Christianity? It's because division causes disaster. When you divide people, they can't come together to fight as one. Which is why the devil's very smart. It causes division between people, between groups, and that's why they never succeed fully. But I'll tell you this one thing though. You know who's always on their side, who's always working together? Them boys. Yep. Them boys work together. They don't give a fuck. But we as Christians, fellas, need to work together as well. If we're going to do that. Just saying.
like, have fun at your Klansman rally. And I'd be like, cool, because I'd ask her to watch my cat. But the idea that I think that at the moment that I recognize something or at the moment that I become something, everyone else must therefore become that thing, I think that's asinine. I do.
Yeah, but I'm not saying that. Look, my show is my platform, and I say what I feel about the situation, and my audience is already there with me. You know, I'm doing a show, and by the way, I don't even do it for the audience. I say what I say. I said it 8 years ago when it really wasn't popular. I said it 5 years ago when it was a little more.
Guys, by the way, what's the better movie? Jurassic World Rebirth or Superman? What's the better movie? My nephew wants to know. He wants to go. What's the better movie? Superman or Jurassic World? You guys tell me.
More popular, I'm saying it now. And, you know, so, and that's the difference, I guess, is this is a common critique of me and my audience. People say, well, are you being tactful? Are you being strategic? These kinds of things. I'm not setting plays. I will acknowledge I'm impulsive. I am bombastic. I'm out there. I'm a maniac, you know. But my job is to put the truth out there. I am the bucket of ice cold water, and I'm dumping it on people, and some people are going to get it, and some people it's going to take them longer. I'll let other people set the plays. I'll let other people kind of do the breadcrumbs and do this incremental approach. Me, I kind of figured it out. I was off to the races from the beginning, and I just want to cut to the chase and get to the most fundamental part of the idea. And so, you know, that's why some people...
So I'm hearing both are bad. Okay, but what's better, though? Superman or Jurassic World? Jurassic World was bad. Superman F1 is better. I heard F1's a really good story, by the way. F1 the movie, I heard it's a really good story. Both are gay. Come on, man.
Today I got time, cuz.
Okay, but both suck. I got it. Superman more, but both suck. All right, cool. Nigga said, bro, that documentary, bro. Come on, man. The nigga's 15, bro.
People don't like me, granted.
Come on, man.
But I think the big picture is that I have been suppressed for 10 years, because I mean, we could sit here all day long and say, were you...
Super chat says, Cashin Matoga says, they're both really good. Superman gets a slight edge. All right, Superman it is, brother. Appreciate that, bro. Superman it is.
Mean to this one? Were you mean to that one? Was this out of pocket? The fact of the matter is, I have been more censored than anybody for 10 years.
Yeah.
And that's the real reason. So, and
But you're not still being censored. I'm just trying to provide feedback.
I am, though.
Provide feedback to what you just said in that clip. Like, why wouldn't they have me on their platform? I'm not tone policing. Go on your show, say whatever you want. Actually, I would make the argument that you're kind of tone policing our shows by saying, why won't they? Like, whatever. I'm just saying, don't assign evil motive where there just might not be one. Like,
I don't think I am.
Okay,
I was
fine.
mad that you wouldn't. Well, you don't believe me, but I was mad that you're saying, okay. You're mad that. Well, I was mad that you wouldn't have me on the show because, you know, look, I stand you.
Okay, so here's what you got him. If you notice, he has to actually come to her in a way where it's not as harsh because he's on her show. Remember, when you have a lot of audience and you have a lot of views and people that watch you, you have audience share. And no matter how cool you are to your audience, her audience doesn't know you that well. They may, of course, I'm just saying example, but in general, right, as a creator. So what's happening is that, like, whenever you bring someone on your platform, you're creating an audience share between that person and yourself. So what happens is even if they may see clips of the person or they may see them in passing, they still watch Candace. But Nick is very smart. Nick knows if I get on different platforms, people hear me speak in a long form content, they'll come over to me and stick, which is very smart. However, people are terrified of Nick, which is why they don't want to bring him on. So, in that same example that I gave earlier, if you look at it from a creator standpoint, some of them don't want to share their audience with Nick. Call it fair, call it unfair. That is the opinion and choice of their own platform. I'm just telling you guys what it is. And of course, people say, oh, bro, they're sellouts or they're this and that. Well, bro, it's their platform. They can do whatever they want to do. Now, is it fair? Is it unfair? That's up for you guys to decide, but they can do whatever they want to do.
So hard on Twitter. I was Candace Owens, and the Groypers were there for you for Daily Wire, and they wanted the collab so bad last year. And you kept saying, well, we'll do it. But then you said...
What are you talking about? Let's back this up.
Okay.
Because I do want to get to this. This is actually something that I find to be very funny. First and foremost, because I don't know what a Groyper is. Okay. This is, and I will give you credit where credit is due. You have managed to infect the brains of 40-plus-year-old men. And that is actually, I think, the most compelling part about you.
Hold on. We have any Groypers in the chat? Do we have any in the chat right now? Any Groypers in the chat? Because that was a diss, bruh. That was a big diss, bruh. Groyper, stand up, bruh. She just diss y'all niggas like crazy, dog. 40-plus-year-old infections from Nick's rhetoric? Bruh.
I watched as I was coming up in my career, and I will say I've had 4 kids in the last few years. I don't pay attention to, I think you were on Cozy TV.
Yes.
You were banned everywhere. I only know that because 40-year-old men were obsessively asking me to come out and condemn you. I'll name one of them, Seth Dillon of the Babylon Bee. He lives in a Groyper simulation. And I'm just, to me, interested in the idea that the 18-year-old kid who's been banned everywhere, and you have to jump through the hoops to watch him on this obscure cozy.tv, has managed to completely send you mad. That's fascinating to me. Credit where credit is due. The Groypers, are truly living in the minds of neocons. There's no question about it, okay? So for me, genuinely, I didn't watch your content. I gotta tell you, you're not for moms. I'm very into the anti.
See, I've met some of you guys on about. At Turning Point USA, I was there as well. Not the one recently, but the one in Inauguration DC. I met some of you guys there. You're pretty cool, but to say a 40-plus-year-old man that's infected, bro, come on, bro. That's wild. Listen, I get it, but that's too far, Candace. You can't be doing that, Candace.
High-vax stuff. No one's... I'm not tucking in at night after 5 days a week of a show and 4 kids being like, what's on Cozy TV? What's Nick Fuentes saying over at Cozy TV?
You're not?
No, I am not. And so the first time that I started seeing your clips was kind of at the same moment that I got fired, because at the same time-ish is when you got put back on Twitter. And I am active on Twitter, and I'm seeing clips here and I'm seeing clips there. And I did see the clips of you speaking about the Christ is King scenario, some which were hilarious, just kind of getting into the theology of it. And I'm starting to go, okay, I'm kind of getting this Nick Fuentes thing, especially when Jeremy Boring, then the CEO of Daily Wire, hosted this Christ is King audio live. And that was the first time I ever heard your backstory.
Vapor, I don't know if you're slow, dumb, retarded, or both. But I said earlier, Myron is going to be at Timcast. She's traveling right now. This nigga slow, bro.
Why are you gay?
So I genuinely was so, I guess, not blind to the Groyper movement, but how influential you were, that these people, as Jeremy admitted in that audio, were watching your show, which was on an app that I had never even heard about. So I want to give credit where credit is due. But your strategy of, I'm going to go on my show and call this person out for not having me on the show when you didn't ask to come on the show, and you had a line of communication because of some legal stuff that was happening in the background where I was asking you to do a decent thing and tell the truth about the fact that we didn't have this relationship that I think some people thought that we had going on in the background, a political relationship or like strategizing together. So I just think it was ridiculous. Like, I'm like, if you wanted to come on the show, why didn't you just send a big boy message and say, hey, Candace, we should collab? And that's what I mean when I say I think you internet too hard. Like, you think the way to get that is to go, Groiper war, Groipers, go at, and I am the exact opposite demeanor. Like, if you do that, I will definitively not have you on the show. And the irony is, we had the discussion. So I think I messaged you and I was like, what's the deal with you on YouTube? If I have you on the show, we were just kind of getting set up here. Are you allowed to? And you answered and said, I don't know. You said, some people have had me on, some people have gotten hit. And I'm like, okay, well, we're still trying to figure this thing out. And the next thing I know, you've launched a Groiper war. And I'm going, if you think this is the last strategy you should possibly take if you ever want to get anything with me, I don't respond to like anonymous accounts. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not.
Well, he's on the show right now. So, I mean, obviously it worked. Love you, Nick.
13. I have toddlers at home. Like, I get the, like, I want. And I say to them, if you would like something, you need to use your manners. You need to say, can I please have? And thank you. And that's how I felt you were kind of executing this request, was in a really immature way. It was just immature.
Well, I think you're kind of starting in the middle of the story, because when he left the Daily Wire, everybody was on Twitter and in your live chat and in the comments saying, we want the collab with Nick Fuentes. And you said in the live chat, we're going to do it. We have the screenshots in the live chat for your show. You said, we're going to do the collab. I have the screenshots. So, if this goes up, we'll post it.
Are you potentially speaking about like a live chat that was going and you think that I responded to somebody saying?
Your channel said, we're going to do the collab.
Okay, maybe are you talking about YouTube?
Yes.
Genuinely, I don't know what you're talking about, but we can add the screenshot. We can add it because I definitively do not remember saying we were going to do the collab. Even if I indicated I did reach out to you and say, what's the deal? Because we were talking about, like I said, we were like, we should get him on.
Yeah.
But then in between me saying we should get him on and you saying, I don't know about YouTube, suddenly there was like, we're launching a war on her.
Yeah,
and then I was like, no, I don't want to do this.
Let's talk about that beginning of the story, because people were pushing for the collab, and there's a screenshot where you say, yeah, we'll do the collab. And this was like a period of many months.
Okay, fact-checking Nick Fuentes again here. So he sent us 2 screenshots where he says that I said, we'll do the collab, and I do not believe these screenshots say that. So these are the ones that he sent us. Here's number 1. He doesn't show us what I was responding to.
Let's pause. Yes, I would talk to Nick. Why not? Give him hell. Okay. Cool. Okay. She said she would talk to Nick. But that doesn't mean a podcast.
But we can guess, because I said, yes, I would talk to Nick. Why not? So that makes me believe that the person probably said, would you ever have Nick on the show? Or would you ever speak to Nick Fuentes? And I said, yes, I would talk to him. Why not? I never said we were collabing. And then this is the second screenshot that Nick sent us. It reads, I will literally speak to anyone on my podcast. My podcast is not for crybabies who hate speech. So I'm not certain how he could have interpreted that as I confirmed I was doing a collab with him, but those are the screenshots he submitted. So I will allow you guys to interpret that yourself. Back into the conversation.
All right, fellas, do you think that she was guaranteeing an actual podcast, or she was just saying, I'll talk to anybody? We'll come back to that.
And then you go and do a Twitter space with Dan Bilzerian, and there was I think one of those Jewish guys was on there. I forget his name. Mike something.
We have here. Oh, pretty. Thanks for the support, guys. Appreciate it a lot. 1 second. We have. Hoflation says this was an L for Candace. The whole time she made exception to the rule arguments and is triggered by Nick's views on race mixing, which I actually agree with, but. If I didn't know who Candace was, I would have thought that she was the typical leftist black woman. Okay. Damn. Okay. I see you, brother. I see what you're saying there. We'll move forward.
Myers was on there. Andrew Meyer was on there.
Oh, yeah.
You brought him on there. I think Andrew Tate was on there. People said in your replies, get Dave Smith, get Dave Smith. You said he's invited to everything I do. All the replies said get Nick Fuentes on there. I'm not banned on Twitter. And so, and here
but
was
that was after you had launched.
One sec, we got Kim Pop 0805 says, your social IQ is 10x more than Myron's, with all due respect. Nah, bro. See. Okay, so here's the problem, right? Like, I'm not Myron, bro. I am myself. I don't want to be Myron. You guys want me to be Myron? I will not be Myron. I'll be fresh. I'll be me. And whether you call it low IQ or high IQ, I just think what I think, bro. Quite frankly, bro, I get what I want in life. Everything I want in life, I got. Hit all my goals. I'm happy. I'm actually like really excited for this year, what's happening. Whether I have low IQ, high IQ, who cares, bro? Nigga, it's my life. What you should worry about is your IQ, bro. But thank you for the chat, though.
Just like,
no, it wasn't.
Yeah, I think it was.
I don't think it was. But either way, here's the point. It just felt like you were making excuses, which was, oh, well, it's the YouTube thing. Oh, well, it's the legal thing. If it's YouTube, we could have done it on my platform.
You know the legal thing was real. I still can't speak about what that legal thing was, but that was very real. That was very real. And I was.
Is it not in effect now? Has something changed?
Not for a discussion for another time, but the point being is like that wasn't a joke.
This is getting good.
That wasn't a joke.
This is getting good, fellas.
I know there was a legal
the accusations that were being thrown at me.
She's referring to a lawsuit, or I want to say an attack on her, and she wanted Nick's help with this attack. So basically, she reached out to Nick for help, and obviously she didn't want to get into it again. But imagine she had Nick for help, and Nick helps her, and she doesn't want to bring him on the podcast. I mean, that's kind of messed up. You feel me? Like, he did help you when he didn't have to. So technically speaking, like, I mean, you kind of owe him a favor, though. Just keeping it real with you.
Were just inaccurate in regarding that legal thing. And so when I reached out to you to ask you to just clarify that this wasn't real, whatever it was, I was asking you to just do a decent thing. Like, that was not on a, okay, well, let's collab or not collab. It was like, hey, this is my real life. It's being impacted by something that I didn't do. No, but then you kind of, in a really crappy manner, spoke about that on your show, something that I was privately going through that is still lasting. Okay. I have a lot of stuff going on in the background. And I was just like, what kind of person is this? Like, like, I'm fighting for my life. I'm being attacked by Zionists. I've just gotten fired. I have kids at home. I mean, at no point you just go like, and then you knew that I had some legal stuff, drama going on in the background. At no point you just go like, maybe she genuinely just like, or I'm just going to reach out to her and say, hey, we're already talking. Do you want to maybe?
There's an air and there's a shoulder to cry on sometimes for people. But as a creator, you can't show weakness. You can't be in a position of depression or darkness because people will laugh and then move on. A lot of times creators go through a lot of bullshit. You guys have no idea. I've seen it firsthand. I've seen even Sneeko when he lost his channel on YouTube. That nigga was depressed as fuck, bro. I thought he was gonna cry. Well, and it was like, I feel you, bro. Like, this stuff fucking sucks. This is your money. This is how you make money, for your career. So it's kind of like people do a lot of shit that you guys don't see off camera, and no one's perfect, fellas. No one's a superhuman. No one's fucking Thanos. Niggas do go through some bullshit. No matter how tough you are, you do. Even the best creators, Kai Cenat, same shit. So, speed. So I think for people to just like disregard people's human attributes as creators, that's flawed because, fellas, you're not perfect either. You watch people, you always assume they're in the brightest light. But I'm around these niggas, bro. I'm around people all day, celebrities. Bro, they have many flaws. Myself as well. I'm not perfect, bro. Shit, I make mistakes all the time. You guys see it live. But you know what's really true and what's always perfect with me is that I am who I am. I don't hide it. I don't try to deny it. Oh, Fresh, you messed with a chick that was escort. Okay, nigga. I'm sure you did too at some point too. Nigga, we're in a world of fucking OnlyFans, escorts, all this shit's happening in front of you on Instagram. So, nigga, we love the hoes, bro. We do what we do. But I just think that people try to hide their flaws and say, oh, I'm perfect, bro. Listen, so Candace is being open here and saying, hey, I went through some bullshit. You could have my back as a fellow creator. But Nick went online and said, hey, this is her business. So, was that right? I don't think so. But then again, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is where common sense comes into play. Common sense is so not common anymore, fellas. Which is why I made the group Common Sense Gang. Link is pinned in the chat. And of course, your support goes very far with this show. And again, this is where I say, you gotta have the common sense to say, okay, as a fellow creator, We all do it bullshit. I've been through it too. I'm not going to go through this with you. But we don't always have that. All right, we got JR Ortega says, need to think about this merch. Nothing but love from Wisconsin Stay Fresh. Oh, appreciate that, bro. Man, listen, fellas. You know what is with merch and me? I feel like, that merch is cool, but I don't want to. I mean, unless you guys really want it, but I don't really want to do that, man. Like, you guys support the show already. Super chats and subs. That's all we need, bro. If you want to have us on your shirt, I don't know if that's the best idea. You feel me? But hey, shout out to you for supporting, bro. We got as well. Let's see here. We got, Hoflation. One of the main reasons she had Nick on was to get to him to admit they don't know each other for a lawsuit against the Daily Wire, allegedly. Which Nick admits. One second here. Nick admits they don't know each other for a lawsuit against the Daily Wire. Okay. And she later on goes to call Nick selfish and immature because he's not married with kids at 26 years old. Meanwhile, she got married at 29. We got our boy DC Badass says, "W Fresh, tell it how it is. Real nigga shit." Thank you, bro. Appreciate that, fellas, for the support. Yeah, man. This is some real shit we're talking here.
Lab down the future. That's the adult thing to do. And going to your point, when I said he's always invited to anything I do, I literally had not invited Dave Smith. I would just.
Yeah, I know.
I had not invited him. I was just saying, if he wants to.
But yeah, said about my merch, bro. Go to Zara, bro. Get a plain black tee, plain white tee, some good fits, and rock that shit, bro. Hit the gym like your boy has been hitting the gym, and you'll look good, bro. You know what I'm saying? You don't need my merch.
Jump on and say, let me on. I'll let him on. That's it.
Yeah, well.
But if you're on my CEO Network, I'd give you a free shirt that says CEO Network, and you're part of the crew, so it's for free.
And here's the thing. I think that you can't have your cake and eat it too, okay? Because you also went and said, I've never spoken to Nick Fuentes before in my life. But that was a lie.
Okay, but...
Or you didn't know, but we had spoken before.
Okay, yeah, let's clarify that. Yes, I was wrong that there was that one conversation you pointed out about when my husband was working for... what was the app called? Parlor app.
Parlor? Oh, I'm sorry. So there were two, actually.
Yeah, but like, I mean, come on, Nick. The verse is like, we had this long relationship.
Okay, but we can't play this game now. We can't play this. Because you can't then get on my case and say, well, you know, look, I'm just going through a lot and I have this crappy stuff going on.
No,
and then
I'm
it's
just
like,
saying,
wait, but I don't know about the screenshot, but I forgot.
See, Nick is talking, and this is good because he's exposing something that we didn't know. See, this is all juicy, right? Okay, listen. I'm not a drama queen, nigga, but like, this shit right here, I can see how the two creators' minds are working, and it's because I understand both sides. What's crazy is that this conversation never happens on camera. It's either through a third-party person, a manager, saying, what the fuck, this happened, blah, blah, blah. But you're seeing live in color, them arguing about their prior history. This shit never happens on camera, fellas. Like, this will be like deep-seated hatred, like, for example, beef with DDG or Reggie, shit like that, where, like, it's been brewing for a minute, and you just see the aftermath of it in real time. But you don't see what led up to it or what happened in between. So it's kind of like, this is good shit, bro.
About the conversation
Nick,
and
that
the
was
other
from
one
years ago. I mean, okay, yes, okay, you're right. At first, I there was a conversation that you can read it
it's
live.
Convenient.
Well, we should throw it up. Let's throw it up and post so people can read what you're okay. Like back in 2019, what is it, 18, 19, there was a communication.
And then in 2022 during the Kanye thing.
Yes, and I've always been honest. I've talked about that many times. That was the first time I remembered us having a conversation was the Kanye stuff. So when I was saying the first time I spoke to him was over the Kanye thing, and I've been very honest about that.
You said that after, because first you said we had never spoken. And then I insinuated, oh, maybe that's not true. And then you said, oh, we talked during Ye.
I can legitimately tell you that that's factually you're very wrong because I had to confront that because of some legal stuff that was going on. I was very open about the fact that I had a conversation with you when you were hanging out with Ye. You could talk about that openly right now. I couldn't care less. But the point is that what was the difference in what we're talking about is a communication about a certain situation versus like Candace and Nick had some like background relationship and we're coordinating. That's just not true, you know? And so that was what I was trying to dispel because people were very seriously creating an insane conspiracy theory that I was coordinating with you. It was insane. All I can say to you is that retrospectively it was insane. And so if I forgot one communication.
Yep. The super chatter was right. She's trying to make herself distant from Nick in knowing him as an individual. So Hoflation was right. We have here, Kim Pop says, what I meant to say about social IQ people that hate don't understand what you do for the show. Oh, appreciate that, bro. Yeah. Listen, dude, I've realized that, you know what happened back in the day? We started making money, and I bought a McLaren. Since that day, bro, like, the entire shift of hate went towards me. And I don't know if it's because of the material stuff, but it's more like, I have some goals I want to hit, and cars was one of them. But when you add cars and lifestyle, people hate horribly, bro. Which is why, you know, I've been preached, right? They don't show lifestyle. But they just talk shit about people all day. And the hate is very minimal because either it's a topic, but it goes away. But when you show lifestyle, you show people like how well you're doing, and if you don't deserve it, oh, they get mad, bro. They get mad, or they don't have it themselves. So it is what it is. We got Cal from Toga says she definitely is trying to create distance between her and Nick. I agree. Your elocution and speech needs ironing. Thank you, but I've never heard you say anything stupid in the years I've been listening. I mean, I do say some funny random shit sometimes just for like laugh and giggles, but like, bro, I'm not stupid, bro. I'm pretty smart what I do. So it's more of a show tactic than anything else.
About Parlor, you are correct. I went and checked, and I was like, yeah, no, he's right. I told him that my husband was not working, I think for like Google, or I don't know what you thought was happening, but it wasn't real, and I told you that. So I just kind of shut down some conspiracy that you were on. And then was the Kanye thing. And there were other people who genuinely believed that you and I were like in this communicative relationship, coordinating, like I'm working with the Grapers. And it was just, I don't know what to say other than it was really loony. These were coming from older men, and I realized that you were kind of very effectively getting to people.
That's true. But yeah, I mean, look, and you know, this is a long time ago now, it was a year ago. I didn't prepare the timeline in advance, but the way that I recall, you said we had never talked before. Then you said, well, we talked once during Yay.
No,
I believe that was the case, but maybe I'm wrong about that. Like I said, I don't have it in front of me, but it felt like
that's true.
I felt like you weren't being completely forthcoming about it.
Please be forthcoming. I'm the most honest person in my audience, so nothing is off record. You can say whatever you want right now. Be forthcoming. What did I lie about? I did forget the Parlor communication.
You said we had never talked before. We had actually talked a couple of times before.
Yeah, but about the same situation. You get my point. We were dealing with something with Ye. This was not like Candace reaching out like, hey, Nick,
but that's
what's
not what
that
you said.
Graper music?
You didn't say we talked about unrelated things and we've talked before.
Okay.
You said we've never talked before. I don't know anything about him. I don't know him.
I didn't know anything about you. That's the point. I knew that Ye was hanging out with
Ye?
you.
Why'd you say I was okay to Ye?
I said to Ye, the point being is that I said to Ye, based on my own assessment of things, like I thought that there was a bigger risk because somebody was getting involved with his campaign, and I had known for that individual to be open about blackmailing people. I obviously, as a friend of Ye, knowing everything that was going on, I was concerned. And I expressed that to you, and I said, you're in proximity to him. He's mad at me for this, and that, because Ye was mad at me for a couple of days. And I said, please just tell him this. That was it. So our communication...
We talked about Milo, and then you vouched for me with Ye.
Yeah, and Milo and I have
since... Now you follow Milo on Twitter.
Yeah, Milo and I since have talked about it, because, and he respects the fact. That's why I said, I'm very honest, so you're not going to catch me here, Nick.
I'm not trying to catch you. You're trying to lecture me.
No, you can talk. I want you to be as open as possible about this, because I just think that there's been so much crap that's been said that's just untrue. Yes, the person was Milo. I wasn't going to identify him, but Milo and I have since talked about it because he recognizes that I was just concerned about Ye. It's the reason I communicated to you is because the person that I knew was not you. It was not Milo. It was Ye. And I was concerned, obviously, with everything that was going down. He had been at my house.
Bro, that nigga Milo's mad messy, bro. I'm telling you right now, bro.
Why are you gay?
That nigga's so messy, bro. I got some shit, dude. Like, yo, the world's so small. Just before you.
Things were going down. I was just concerned, and I wanted to make sure that I was protecting him, because what I knew from Milo publicly, because I didn't know Milo either. Have I had a correspondence with Milo in the past, similar to you? Yeah, I saw him at the David Horowitz Freedom Foundation, but I didn't know Milo like I didn't know you. And I was just trying to protect Ye. And so the extent to our conversation was about me trying to be a good friend to somebody else. It wasn't like this. And I told people that. I didn't tell the audiences that. What I'm saying is that I told...
You didn't tell the audience, but that's key, because I'm not a part of the other conversation.
No, I said to you, I said I didn't know you. I didn't know you. Just because I communicate with you about Ye doesn't mean that we know each other, Nick.
I don't know him. We've never talked. I've never had anything to do with him before.
Nick, that's not true.
Okay,
we never talked. That's not true.
That's what you said.
Okay.
And then I said, we did talk.
Okay.
And then
We're
you said,
going
well,
to give you the right to pull the clip of me saying I've never talked to Nick Fuentes because I communicated with you about Yay. I was open about that.
okay, well,
And
but we
since
could go and
then,
find
just
the
to
clip.
clarify, spoke to Milo about that, and said, look, he understands that was my perspective.
Mhm.
Obviously, getting into the movement, just like you, when I first kind of was coming in, I was reading a lot of Milo's blogs, a lot of his writings up at Breitbart, and he kind of turned the lights on for me in terms of feminism and the BLM movement. So we never really had, I would say, the same exact thing. I didn't really know Milo. I knew his writing, I knew his work, but I didn't know him. So I just don't understand what I did wrong by saying that I don't know you. What do you want me to say?
What was
Make it up?
Well, once again, we're kind of massaging the words. You said we never talked. I know nothing about him. I don't know him when we had talked. And then you went.
Oh, big dono on Fresh and Fit Rumble. W for my boy Andre Bless One. W Fresh, love to see you doing your thing, bro. Shout out to you, man. Appreciate the support. Yeah, man, your boy is back. Listen, I've been behind the scenes, but guess what? Now I'm in front of the scenes. Let's fucking go.
And change the statement and said, oh, no,
You gotta
we
pull it
talked
up.
one
You gotta
time.
pull it up.
Okay, we
Come
can.
on, you gotta pull it up now.
We can't. I don't have it on me. I didn't know I was coming in. You said it
Okay.
wasn't an ambush. I thought we were
it's not
talking
an
about
ambush.
Iran.
You brought it up, but that's fine.
You brought it up. You wanted to litigate the beef. I'm happy to do it. I don't have the receipts prepared, but we could do it.
Perfect. I do not know Nick Fuentes. I don't know you, but you already know that. What I do know.
Yo, she said, I don't know if Nick Fuentes. Yo, talk about denial at its finest, bro. Dog, I'm just telling you this right now, bro. I don't know you. Who are you, Nick? But you already know that. What I do know is that everyone can see what you guys are doing to me. Your pattern is well established, and the world is waking you up to it. My crime is having stood up for myself against your network of smears. Listen, fellas. Being attacked by them boys is never fun. I'll say this right now. Okay, so listen. Y'all niggas, right, that say, oh, bro, get their niggas, bro, blah, 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 blah. If they came after your family, bro, you be shaking in your boots, my boy. So I already know what this is, right? This is pretty much her saying, listen, don't put me in that box, nigga. I'm good. I'm over here. She's saying, hey, I don't know this guy. I'm not with this group. Please don't put me in that box. But unfortunately, they put everybody in that box. Maybe Nick a little bit more, but I see what she's doing here. But she says straight up, bro, I don't know you. What the fuck, man?
No, is that everyone can see what you guys are doing to me. Your pattern is well established.
There were other
and the
statements
world,
beside
hold
this
on,
tweet.
and the world is waking up to it. My crime is having stood up for myself against your network of smears. I'm responding to the ADL and saying I don't know you. I didn't know you.
But that's not the only statement. You said stuff on your
Was it
show,
on
and there were
Twitter?
other tweets.
It was on my show.
I don't have it on me.
Okay,
if you
well,
want to come back and we could do a
come
debate
back.
about
No,
a year
we're not
ago,
going to do a
I'll
debate
have
about
all
it.
the
I'm just
receipts
saying that,
prepared for you.
just so everyone can. This is pre-recorded, so I'm just going to say, if you do go home and find a clip of me saying something that you believe was lying, then I'm happy to share it because I don't lie to people. It's just not something that's like in my DNA. I would rather just tell the truth and deal with the consequences. So I had two separate communications with you before I got fired, and they were limited to us discussing Parler and us discussing Yay. Would you think that's a fair assessment of?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Fine. Done. Okay, fact-checking Fuentes, because we told him, obviously, that he could send us anything in post and we would drop it in. He said that I denied that I had contact with him. This is the proof that he sent us right here. You can see that I tweeted on November 25th, 2022. I tweeted, I have never in my life been in contact with Milo Yiannopoulos or Nick Fuentes. This is not a personal shot at either of them. That is simply the truth. I met Milo twice, both times at the David Horowitz Freedom Center, where we were both invited as speakers years ago. As Nick insinuated, this was technically not true because I did have public contact with Nick that then kind of rolled into a private correspondence. So I'll read it to you. This is what I tweeted publicly. I tweeted, this isn't true, responding to Nick. He was tweeting something about Parler, which my husband was the CEO of Parler, so I was defending my husband. I said, this is not true. Apple was under serious pressure, which is why they reinstated the app. This is a victory. Short term, though, in my opinion, if they don't sue Apple. Referring to Parler again, I'm just out here defending my husband's honor. But to Nick's credit, I'm not going
to hold you, man. Her husband is a blessed man. Very blessed.
After said this to him via DM, a private correspondence, basically
Pause.
just, again, talking about Parler and saying that I couldn't say anything just yet. And that was our correspondence that we had that I truly did not remember. You can see it is dated April 19th, 2021. So I was sincere when I said that I didn't have any contact with Nick in 2022, but I did forget this correspondence. So back to the conversation. But going on to the broader point that I wanted to make, I'm glad that we went through that because I think that there's been a lot of people on the internet that have said things that are not true. So that is the basis of the communications that we've had. And I was very aware of, obviously, like all of the Groypers tweeting when I got fired. Genuinely didn't know what the Groyper movement was outside of seeing you guys kind of pop up on college campuses and begin to ask some questions that I actually thought were very fair and questions that I hadn't considered. Why was I, when I was working at Turning Point USA, touring with Dave Rubin, who is a homosexual married man? Can you talk about, first and foremost, what a Groyper is and how the movement got started?
Well, it got started in 2019 when Charlie Kirk was doing his first big college tour.
Yo, APAC, chill, dog. I'm just reacting to this video, bro. APAC, hey, listen, I want no beef, bro. APAC, I got you, dog. Like, please, let me breathe. Please.
And I forget, actually, the first one. I think it was in...
By the way, I do know Nick.
Colorado. And a couple of fans of my show, I didn't tell him to do this. Actually, people had asked me before, should we do this? Is this a good idea? And I said, no, I don't think so. But two guys who watched the show, they went out on their own. And I think the one guy asked a question about legal immigration. You're against illegal, but you're for legal immigration. How's that conservative? And then another guy came up and he said something about Israel. You seem to be Israel first. What about America? And the two clips blew up on Twitter, and I promoted them on my show. I said, that was unbelievable. That was really awesome. I said, because, if we show up in MAGA hats and rosaries, who we are, which is pro-Trump Catholics, and we present as the real right wing, this is unignorable. And people will start to ask these questions. So the following day, he did another event, I think, in Iowa. Once again, there were a couple of Groypers asking these types of questions. Then the third day in New Hampshire, same story. And I remember doing a show covering the latest batch of clips. It turned into a thing. We were covering them on the show every night, the clips of these questions. And at that time, Groyper was a meme. It was like Pepe the Frog. And there's a few variations. There's Pepe, Marv, Apu, and Groyper was one of them. And Groyper's like a big cartoon frog.
Why is it named Groyper?
I don't know.
I literally don't know what Groyper means.
It came from a Twitter account called That Groyper. He just named it Groyper.
Okay, so it just doesn't mean anything.
No,
okay.
Yeah, it was technically called Easter Toad was the drawing, the proprietary drawing. But then some Twitter users started calling it Groyper. And at that time, people would personalize the Groypers and make them an avatar. So, they'd have different themes and different personalities. And Groyper became synonymous with like a far right, like retard. Like a Groyper was like, this guy is painfully, obnoxiously far right.
Okay.
And so I said on my show, imagine you're Charlie Kirk. You're standing up there on the stage sweating, and you have a line of Groypers asking you questions about the USS Liberty and dancing Israelis. I said, what must be going through his head? And ever since then, they took the Groyper standing upright, because the famous picture is he's sitting down like this. But they took a picture of the Groyper standing upright, and there was a meme at the time of Alex Jones walking down an alleyway, and they copy-pasted a bunch of Alex Jones. They said it was an army of Alex Jones. And so someone took that meme, and they did it with Groypers. They had an army of Groypers marching down the alley. And I said, that's us. That's the Groypers lining up to ask Charlie Kirk a question. So that's the origin of the name.
Okay, interesting. I was always wondering, I'm like, what does Groyper actually mean? And so it's a lot of people that have these anonymous accounts. And like I said, we'll show a clip of it. But I thought it was very interesting because it was, I guess, questions that I hadn't really grappled with, which is I'm on stage. I'm saying that I'm a Christian, and yet I'm touring with somebody who is a homosexual married man. How do I reconcile that? And rather than kind of getting the answer, and I think I particularly remember one clip with, gosh, what is his name? I'm totally blanking here. It's a Black Army vet. I know his name.
Smith.
Rob Smith. It was a moment with Rob Smith. And I think somebody shouted down the person and said that they were homophobic. Like the question is homophobic. And at that moment I went, yeah, you can't do that. You got to actually answer the question. There could be an answer, but we can't be like the left and just calling people names because we don't maybe want to confront that there is some substance to this question. But then you guys kind of, or maybe it sounds like it did start as an online movement. Who are the Groypers behind the scenes? Do you have communication with these people?
Yeah.
They're real, obviously they're real human beings. But my point is that, like, is this movement, like, you guys are on a group chat and you know these individuals? Can we get a demographic? Are they older? Are they younger? Who are the Groypers?
Well, they are real human beings. They're all young white men. Or there's other men too. I mean, some of them are Hispanic, some of them are Black, some of them are Jewish for that matter. But they're mostly young men, college age, Generation Z. Some of them even high school aged.
Okay.
All right, fellas, we're going to take a quick break here from this actual interrogation. We're going to do a small break here, and we're going to head over to Rumble and Kick only. I'm going to play some videos that are not safe for YouTube, so we're getting off while we break for this actual intermission. But stay tuned. We'll be back to this actual review in about 20 minutes. All right, 1 second here. I'm going to get out of YouTube because, you know, it's called YouTube for a reason. Let's go. So come on over to Rumble, guys, and Kick. Link will be in the actual chat as well. Come on over.